Hello there and welcome back. Today we're going to be unpacking one of the most misunderstood types of interview questions. Now, you've probably heard something like this before in an interview. How would you handle a situation where? Or imagine you're leading a team and this happens. Or what would you do if? These hypothetical or situational questions often leave candidates either guessing or rambling, but you don't need to predict the perfect answer. What you need is a structured way to show your thinking and back it up with evidence. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through my method for reframing the question, delivering a clear, values-driven response, linking it to real-life stories for credibility, and then finally closing with a confident outcome. So let's dive in. First, let's get clear on why interviewers ask these types of questions. They want to know how you think under pressure, how you make decisions in grey areas, and how well you communicate your logic and intent. Most importantly, they're testing your judgment and not your imagination. And the best way to demonstrate your sound judgment is to show that you've already lived it. Even if the scenario isn't identical, a comparable experience makes your answers real, relatable, and reassuring. So here's how I coach clients to approach these types of questions. Step 1, we want to reframe the question out loud. Step 2, deliver a concise response with reasoning. Step 3, anchor it to a real life example. And finally, step 4, summarize with a positive outcome. So let's break this down. In step 1, we're going to reframe. Start by showing that you're familiar with this kind of situation. You could say, that's a great question and one I've come across more than once. In my experience, answer. This frames you as experienced and not speculative. Step 2, we want to deliver a direct response. Answer the hypothetical directly and focus on your thought processes, priorities, and rationale. You could say, my approach would be this because it will ensure that happens while managing XYZ. You're giving them a decision framework and not just an action. Step 3, we want to anchor to a real story using a light STAR answer. You could say something like this. For example, last year at X company, we had a tight deadline clash between two high stakes projects. I coordinated a reprioritization meeting with stakeholders, negotiated the adjustments to timelines, and then aligned the expectations. As a result, this happened. You want to keep it light and sharp. Think of it like a proof point and not a full story. And lastly, we have step 4. We want to summarize the outcome with a reflective note or lessons learned. You would say, that approach worked well because it gave everyone clarity and kept delivery on track. It's a tried and tested approach which I would use as a blueprint to tackle a similar scenario going forward. So let's apply this to a typical question. That could be, how would you handle conflicting priorities while on a project? Your answer could look something like this. Great question. Those situations come up often in project environments. My approach is to identify a critical path and align the stakeholders to make trade-offs early. That allows us to stay flexible while protecting the key outcomes. For example, in a recent role, we had overlapping demands from sales and compliance during a product rollout. I facilitated a triage session, proposed a phased launch, and then managed the communication with both groups. As a result, we were able to deliver 80% of the core product features on time and achieve regulatory sign-off with minimal delay. I found that clear decision frameworks and transparent stakeholder engagement are what make or break these moments. So here are 3 things that we want to avoid. 1, speculating, saying things like, I guess I'd probably do this. This is going to make you sound unsure. You want to anchor in experience. 2, over-explaining. Don't walk them through 10 what-ifs. 1 solid approach plus proof is more impactful. And lastly, being too vague. You want to be concrete with your answers. So here are a few practice tips that you can try at home to sharpen the skill. 1, list 5 common situational questions related to the job. Secondly, we want to match each one with a real relevant story from your past. 3, practice aloud using reframe, response, example, and outcome. You're going to sound calm, credible, and confident, even under curveball questions. So there we have it. Hypotheticals test your thinking style, not your fantasy skills. Anchor your answer in a lived experience and use this format. Reframe, response, real life example, and then result. And if you want to make this process even smoother, why not create a library of flexible stories that you can adapt to different types of questions? In the next episode, I'm going to show you how to adapt your interview answers for recruiters, hiring managers, and panel interviews, as each one requires a slight shift in perspective to be successful. And before you go, I'd just like to invite you to take a second right now and press that subscribe button. It's the free and easiest way to show your support, and your sub really helps this channel reach more and more people who are looking for resources and passing their interview. A massive thank you from me, and I'll see you in the next one.